They said don't speak to her. But the alien queen sat calmly beside me. The human colony on Kestros V was small and cold. It sat on the edge of known space where the stars looked dim and tired. Lisa Morgan had been there for 6 months, and every day felt the same. Gray metal walls, stale air, and the constant hum of failing machines. She worked in the comms room, listening to static and distant signals that never made sense. Most of the time she heard nothing, but she kept listening anyway. One morning the alarm stayed silent, but something felt wrong. The air grew heavy like before a storm. Lisa checked her screens. Nothing unusual. Then a shadow passed over the sun. Outside, a ship hung in the sky. It was black and smooth with no edges or seams. It did not move or blink or make noise. It simply was. The whole outpost froze. People stopped walking, talking, breathing. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Captain Hale's voice boomed over every speaker. Do not engage. Do not respond. Do not speak to her. Her. Everyone knew who they meant. The Auxiliary Queen. Stories said she ruled 1,000 worlds without raising a hand. That her voice could calm riots or start revolutions. That she never left her golden palace at the center of the galaxy. Yet here she was above a muddy rock with broken pipes and ration bars. Lisa watched from the window as a small craft detached from the dark ship. It landed in the landing zone without kicking up dust or making sound. The ramp lowered, and she stepped out, tall and slender with skin like moonlight on water. Her eyes glowed violet, soft and deep. She wore a robe that shifted colors like oil on water. No guards, no weapons, no crown. Just her and the silence she carried. Soldiers stood at attention but did not block her path. Officers turned their heads but did not speak. She walked through the base like she owned the air itself until she reached the mess hall. Lisa was there eating cold stew from a dented tray. She looked up and saw the Queen standing by her table. For a moment no one moved. Then the Queen sat down across from her. Lisa's hands shook. She remembered the order. Do not speak to her. But the Queen just waited. Calm, patient, like she had all the time in the universe. Lisa swallowed. Hi. The word felt small and foolish, but the Queen tilted her head slightly, almost like a smile. You are Lisa Morgan, the Queen said. Her voice was low and smooth like water over stones. Lisa blinked. How do you know my name? I have heard you speak to the void. Night after night you send your voice into the dark hoping someone will answer. I listened. Lisa's chest tightened. She did that. When everyone slept, she'd whisper into the comms, not expecting a reply, just needing to feel less alone. Why are you here? Lisa asked. The Queen looked around at the cracked walls, the flickering lights, the tired faces. Your people think we are enemies. They see only claws and fangs in the dark. But I came not to fight. She reached into her robe and placed a small black stone on the table. It pulsed with a soft inner light. This is a seed, the Queen said, from the heart of my world. It holds memory, song, and life. I offer it to you. Lisa stared. Why me? Because you listen. Heavy boots echoed in the hallway. Captain Hale stormed in with 2 Marines behind him. His face was tight, his eyes sharp. Queen Zalara, you are violating Treaty 7. Return to your vessel at once. The Queen did not look at him. I am speaking with Lisa Morgan. That's an order, Hale snapped. Lisa stood up. Her legs trembled, but her voice did not. She's not hurting anyone, Hale glared. You were told not to speak to her. That's a direct breach. Maybe the rule is wrong, Lisa said. Silence filled the room. Even the lights seemed to dim. The Queen finally turned to Hale. Your fear blinds you, Captain. You see only threats. But the universe offers more than war. Hale's hand hovered near his sidearm. Last warning, Lisa picked up the seed. It was warm and alive in her palm. What do I do with it? Plant it where hope is thin, the Queen said. It will grow into a tree that sings the songs of my people. A bridge between our kinds, Hale barked an order. The Marines raised their rifles. Before they could move, the ground shook. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. Unknown vessel incoming. A voice crackled over the comms. Solari design. Heavily armed, the Queen stood. My brother comes. He believes peace is weakness. Lisa's breath caught. What does he want? To burn this world? To prove humans cannot be trusted, Hale's jaw clenched. We can fight. You cannot, the Queen said gently. His ship carries fire that turns stone to glass. Lisa looked at the seed, then at the frightened faces around her. She made a choice. Show me how to use this. The Queen nodded. You must sing to it. Not with your voice, but with your heart. Let it feel your wish for peace. Lisa closed her eyes. She thought of her grandmother's lullabies of quiet walks in the woods of Earth, of the way fireflies blinked like tiny stars. She poured all that into the seed. It glowed brighter. Outside, the sky darkened as the second ship descended, jagged and sharp like a broken tooth. Hale shouted into his comm, "All hands prepare for—" A sound cut him off, pure and clear like crystal bells. The seed had sprouted. Silver vines shot through the floor, bursting into leaves that chimed with every breath of wind. The sound was not loud, but it reached everywhere. On the main screen, the brother's face appeared. His eyes burned red, his voice like grinding stone. "Sister, you shame our blood." "I honor it," the queen replied, "by choosing life." The singing grew stronger. The vines climbed the walls, wrapped around support beams spread into the soil. The ground trembled, not from engines, but from roots digging deep into the planet's heart. The brother's ship shuddered. His weapons powered down. "What trick is this?" he snarled. "Not a trick," Lisa said, stepping forward. "It's trust." The brother stared at her, at the small human holding a piece of his world. His expression shifted. Anger gave way to confusion, then something softer. Doubt. The queen walked to Lisa's side. "You have done what my people could not. You showed him that fear is not the only path." The brother's ship turned slowly. It rose into the sky and vanished among the stars. Silence returned, but it felt different now. Lighter. Hale lowered his head. "I was wrong." The queen touched Lisa's shoulder. "This is only the beginning. The tree will grow. Others will come to listen." Lisa looked at the silver leaves swaying in a wind that carried music. "Will you stay for a time to teach? To learn?" The queen smiled. "And to hear your voice again." Days passed. The outpost changed. Humans and Zalari worked side by side. The tree grew taller, its song spreading across the valley. Lisa spent hours beneath its branches talking with the queen about star songs and the quiet courage it takes to reach out first. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Lisa asked, "Why did you really come here?" The queen gazed at the sky. "Because I was lonely too." Lisa understood. Out here in the dark, everyone was searching for someone who would listen. The tree sang on, and for the first time in a long time, Lisa didn't feel alone. Weeks passed, and the silver tree grew taller, its leaves chiming with every breeze. The song it made was soft, but it reached far. Ships from other human colonies began to arrive, not with weapons, but with questions. They came to see the tree, to hear its music, and to meet the woman who planted it. Lisa Morgan never asked for attention, but now everyone wanted to speak with her. The Zalari queen stayed. She walked among the humans not as a ruler but as a guest. She learned their names, their stories, their fears. In return, she shared tales of her world of oceans that glowed at night, and mountains that sang when the wind passed through them. Lisa listened, and in doing so felt less like a lonely comms officer, and more like a bridge between two kinds of life. Captain Hale changed too. He no longer barked orders or clenched his jaw. He sat with the queen sometimes, just watching the tree. One evening he asked her why she chose Lisa. "Because she spoke when no one else would," the queen said, "and because she listened when others only heard noise." Hale nodded. He did not say more, but something in his eyes softened. Life on Kestros Vi settled into a new rhythm. Humans and Zalari worked together to repair old systems, build new shelters, and share food. The tree's roots spread deep, and clean water began to flow from dry wells. The air smelled less of rust and more of green things growing. But peace is fragile. One morning, a distress signal crackled over the comms. It was weak, broken, but clear enough. A human freighter called the Starling had been attacked near the outer rim. Survivors were adrift in escape pods. No ship nearby could reach them in time. Lisa recognized the voice. It was Myra Ellis, her old friend from training. They had shared dreams of exploring deep space together. Now Mara was floating in the cold dark with oxygen running low. Lisa ran to the command center. "We have to help them." Hale shook his head. "Our shuttle is damaged. The nearest rescue ship is 3 days away." "The Zalari ship," Lisa said. "It's fast. It could get there in hours." Silence filled the room. Everyone knew the unspoken rule. Do not ask the queen for favors. Do not involve her people in human problems. But Lisa did not care. She went straight to the garden where the queen sat beneath the singing tree. "My friend is dying out there," Lisa said. Her voice broke. "Please help her." The queen looked up. Her violet eyes held no judgment, only sorrow. "My ship is not a rescue vessel." "But it can save lives," Lisa said. "Isn't that what matters?" The queen stood. She walked to the edge of the garden and gazed at the stars. "My people have long believed that to interfere is to invite chaos. We watch, we listen, we do not act." "Then why did you come here?" Lisa asked. The Queen turned. Because sometimes watching is not enough. She called for her captain, a tall Zalari named Kale with eyes like storm clouds. He arrived within minutes. "Prepare the vessel," the Queen said. "We go to save the humans." Kale bowed, but his voice was tight. "This goes against council law." "Then let the council answer to me," the Queen said. Within an hour, the obsidian ship lifted from the ground without sound. Lisa stood on the landing pad, watching it vanish into the sky. She hoped it was not too late. 2 days later, the ship returned. It carried not only Mara and the other survivors, but something else. A small box wrapped in silver cloth. Mara was weak but alive. She hugged Lisa so tight she could barely breathe. "You sent them for us," she did, Lisa said, nodding to the Queen who stood nearby. Mara looked at the alien Queen with wide eyes. "Thank you." The Queen simply bowed. That night, the survivors were given warm beds and hot food. The outpost buzzed with relief and joy, but Lisa noticed the Queen standing alone on the balcony staring at the stars. She joined her. "Is something wrong? Your friend is safe," the Queen said. "But my brother will not stay quiet. He sees this rescue as weakness. He will tell the council that I have chosen humans over my own kind. Will they punish you? Perhaps, but I would do it again." Lisa felt a lump in her throat. "You risked everything for us." "Not for all of you," the Queen said softly. "For you." Before Lisa could respond, a new alarm sounded. Not loud, but urgent. The comms officer ran in breathless. "We're getting a message from Zalari High Command. They're demanding the Queen return at once. They say if she does not, they will cut off all contact with human space." The room fell silent. Hale stepped forward. "They're threatening war over this, not war," the Queen said. "Isolation. And for my people, that is worse." Lisa's heart sank. "You have to go." The Queen did not answer right away. She looked at the tree, at the humans gathered below, at Lisa standing beside her. "I do not want to leave." "Then don't," Lisa said. "If I stay, I bring danger to you all. If you go, you leave us alone again." They stood in silence as the wind carried the tree's song around them. The next morning, the Queen called a meeting. Humans and Zalari stood together in the central plaza. She spoke clearly so all could hear. "I will return to face the council, but I do not go as a prisoner. I go as a voice for what we have built here. I will tell them of the tree of the water of the songs shared between species. I will ask them to see humans not as strangers but as neighbors." Mara stepped forward. "What can we do? Keep the tree alive," the Queen said. "Keep listening. Keep reaching out. That is how peace grows." She turned to Lisa. "You will care for it," Lisa nodded. "Always." The Queen placed a hand on her chest, then on Lisa's. It was a Zalari gesture of deep trust. "Our hearts are now linked. No distance can break that." Then she boarded her ship and left. Life on Kestros Vive changed again, slower, quieter, but the tree kept singing. Lisa tended to it every day, watering its roots, speaking to its leaves. She told it stories of Earth, of Mara, of the Queen. The tree seemed to listen. Months passed. New ships came, not just human, but from other species too. Drawn by the song, they landed with open hands, not weapons. Kestros Vi became a place of meeting, not hiding. Lisa trained others in comms, teaching them to listen. Not just for threats, but for voices seeking connection. Mara stayed on as a pilot, helping transport supplies and messages between worlds. Hale oversaw the building of a new council hall where all species could gather. But Lisa never stopped watching the sky. One evening, as the twin moons rose, a familiar shadow appeared. The obsidian ship returned. It landed gently and the ramp lowered. The Queen stepped out, but she was not alone. Behind her walked elders from the Zalari Council, their robes shimmering with starlight. Lisa ran to meet her. "You came back." "We all did," the Queen said. "The council has heard my words. They have heard the tree's song through our shared link. They wish to see for themselves." An elder stepped forward. His voice was rough but kind. "We were wrong to fear. Life is not a single thread, but a web. To cut one strand is to weaken the whole." That night, a feast was held under the singing tree. Humans, Xalari, and others shared food stories and songs. The Queen sat beside Lisa as she had on that first day. "They will stay for a while," the Queen said. "To learn. To listen." "And then?" Lisa asked. "Then we build something new. Together." Lisa looked around at the faces lit by firelight and moonlight. For so long, humans had thought they were alone in the dark, but they were not. And they never had been. The tree sang on its music, weaving through the crowd like a promise. and Lisa knew this was only the beginning. The days after the Zelari elders arrived were filled with quiet wonder. They walked the dusty paths of Kestros V, not with judgment but with curiosity. They touched the silver leaves of the singing tree and listened as its music filled the air. They sat with humans over meals asking simple questions about Earth, about family, about fear. Lisa watched them closely and saw something new in their eyes, not suspicion but hope. The Queen stayed near Lisa most of the time. They walked together at dawn when the twin moons still hung low and the air was cool. One morning Lisa asked what happened at the council. They argued for many cycles, the Queen said. Some said we had betrayed our ways. Others said our ways had grown too narrow. In the end they agreed to send observers, not soldiers. So they trust us now. Not yet. But they are willing to try. That was enough for Lisa. Trust was not given in a day. It grew like the tree, slow and steady. As weeks passed, more ships came. Not just Xalari, but others too, drawn by whispers of a place where enemies sat together and shared stories. A species called the Viral, with skin like bark and voices like rustling leaves, set up a small camp near the eastern ridge. They brought seeds that bloomed only under twin moons and offered them as gifts. Then came the Kethra, small and quick, with eyes that saw heat instead of light. They did not speak much, but they fixed broken machines with clever hands and left tiny carvings by the mess hall door each morning. Kestros VI was no longer just a human outpost. It was becoming something else, a meeting place, a beginning. But not everyone welcomed the change. One night a fire broke out in the storage bay. It was small but suspicious. The sprinklers activated fast, but not before someone saw a figure running toward the old comms tower. Hale ordered a lockdown. Lisa helped search. She found footprints near the tower leading to a hidden hatch beneath the floor. Inside, she discovered a radio set tuned to a frequency used by fringe human groups who hated aliens. A message was half written. Burn the tree. Drive them out. Her stomach twisted. There were still those who saw peace as surrender, she told the Queen. Fear does not vanish because the sky is clear. The Queen said, it hides in shadows waiting. What do? We do not hide. We do not fight. We show them there is another way. The next day the Queen gathered everyone in the central plaza. Humans, Xalari, Varel, Kethra all stood together. She spoke plainly. Someone tried to hurt us last night. Not with weapons, but with fear. They think fire will scare us apart. But we are not leaves in the wind. We are roots in the same soil. She turned to the humans. If you are afraid, speak. Do not act in silence. A man stepped forward. His name was Jared. He worked in engineering. His hands shook as he spoke. I didn't start the fire, but I know who did. It's my brother. He says aliens will take our home, that we're giving everything away. The Queen nodded. Bring him here. Jared hesitated. He won't come. Then we go to him. With Lisa and Hale beside her, the Queen walked to the far barracks where Jared's brother lived. The door was locked, but the Queen did not knock. She simply stood and waited. After a long while, the door opened. A young man stood there, eyes red with anger and sleeplessness. Go away, he said. We will not, the Queen replied. Because you are part of this place too. He laughed bitterly. I don't want your peace. I want my world back. Your world is still here, Lisa said gently. It's just bigger now. He looked at her, then at the Queen. Why should I trust you? You do not have to, the Queen said. But come see for yourself. Sit under the tree. Eat with us, listen. If after that you still wish to leave, we will not stop you. The young man stared at them. Then slowly he stepped out. That evening he sat at the edge of the feast, silent and stiff. No one forced him to talk. No one glared. They just let him be. By morning he was helping the Viral plant new seeds. Peace was not a single act. It was a choice made again and again. As the seasons turned, the tree grew taller, its branches stretching wide. Its song changed with the weather, sometimes soft like rain, sometimes bright like morning light. Lisa noticed something else too. The tree's roots had begun to glow faintly at night, pulsing in time with the stars. The Xalari elders studied it with awe. It is becoming a nexus, one said. A living bridge between worlds, the Queen smiled. It always was. One day a new signal came through the comms. Not a distress call, not a warning. A song. It was faint but clear. A melody unlike anything Lisa had heard. It carried sorrow and joy and a question. Are you there? Lisa played it for the Queen. It is from the far rim, the Queen said. A species we have never met. They heard the tree's song through the deep currents of space. They're reaching out, Lisa whispered. Yes, and now we answer. Together they recorded a reply, not with words but with the tree's music layered with human voices. Xalari chants, viral hums, and Kethra clicks. They sent it into the void. Days later, the reply came stronger. This time, gratitude, curiosity, hope. The circle was growing. But the greatest test came not from outside, but from within. The queen fell ill. It started with silence. She stopped speaking for whole days. Then she grew weak. Her silver skin dulled, her violet eyes dimmed. The Xalari elders gathered around her, but their medicine did nothing. Lisa sat by her side, holding her hand. "What's wrong? My world calls me back," the queen whispered. "The heart of our planet is fading. Without it, my people will lose their way. Can't you go home? If I leave now, the bridge we built may break. Fear will return." Lisa looked at the tree, then at the queen. An idea formed. "What if the tree goes with you?" The elders shook their heads. "It is rooted here. It cannot be moved." "But its song can," Lisa said. "What if we send a seed to your world, plant it where your heart is weak?" The queen's eyes flickered with light. A seed born of two worlds. They gathered under the tree that night. Lisa placed her hands on its trunk and thought of all they had shared. The queen sang a Xalari blessing. The virile offered moonbloom petals. The Kethra carved a small vessel from stone. From the highest branch, a new seed formed, black like the first but threaded with silver and green. It pulsed with a rhythm that was both human and Xalari. "This is more than a seed," the queen said. "It is a promise." She prepared to leave. This time not alone, but with a small group of humans, including Lisa. "You will come with me," the queen said. Lisa looked back at Kestros V, at the tree, at the faces of friends. "I have to see it through." The journey took weeks. The obsidian ship sailed through folds of space where stars bent like reeds in water. Finally, they reached the Xalari homeworld. It was beautiful and broken. Golden cities stood silent. Rivers ran slow and gray. The great heart tree at the planet's center was withered, its song gone. The Xalari people watched in silence as the queen walked to the heart tree. She knelt and planted the new seed at its roots. Lisa stood beside her and sang. Not a human song, but the one the tree on Kestros V had taught her. The others joined. Xalari voices, human voices, all weaving together. The ground trembled. Light spread from the seed up the old trunk into the branches. Color returned to the leaves. And then the song began. Not the old song. A new one. The Xalari wept. The queen turned to Lisa. "You saved us. We saved each other." They stayed for many days as the planet healed. Then it was time to return. Back on Kestros V, the tree welcomed them with a brighter song. The outpost had grown. New buildings, new faces. But the heart remained the same. That night, Lisa and the queen sat beneath the branches as they had on the first day. "Will you stay now?" Lisa asked. "For as long as the song lasts," the queen said. And Lisa knew that meant forever. The stars above shone brighter than ever, not because they had changed, but because someone was finally listening. The singing tree had stood for many years, its roots deep in the soil of Kestros V and its branches brushing the sky. Its song had become a constant like the wind or the twin moons rising. Travelers came from across the galaxy, just to sit beneath it to feel its music in their bones. Lisa Morgan was older now. Her steps slower, her hair white as moonlight, but her eyes still held the same quiet wonder. She lived in a small house near the tree built from reclaimed metal and virile wood. The queen stayed with her not as a ruler but as a companion. They shared mornings with tea and evenings with silence, and that was enough. But the universe does not rest. One day, a new signal arrived. Not a song, not a plea, a warning. It came from a ship far beyond the known rim. Its message was broken but clear. Something was coming. Something old. Something that did not sing. The comms room buzzed with fear. Hale, now gray and steady, called a meeting. Mara stood beside him, her pilot's jacket worn but proud. The Xalari elders gathered their faces tight. Even the virile and Kethra seemed uneasy. Lisa listened to the recording again. Beneath the static, she heard something else. Not just fear, but grief. "They're not warning us to run," she said. "They're warning us to prepare," the queen nodded. "This is no ordinary threat. They sent scouts." None returned. Then the sky changed. Stars began to vanish. Not one by one, but in patches like holes torn in fabric. Where light once shone, now there was only absence. Cold, empty, and hungry. Scientists called it the void maw, a force that consumed light, sound, and life. It left no debris, no signal, no echo, just silence. Panic spread. Some wanted to flee. Others wanted to fight. But how do you fight nothing? Lisa went to the tree. She placed her hands on its trunk and closed her eyes. For the first time in years, it felt uncertain. Its song wavered. The queen joined her. Even the tree fears. Then we must be brave for it. They called a council not of leaders but of listeners. Humans Xalari Varel Kethra and others sat in a circle beneath the tree. No weapons, no plans. Just presence. Lisa spoke first. We cannot run. The void will follow. We cannot fight it with guns. It eats energy. But maybe it cannot eat what it does not understand. Like song, a young viral asked. Like connection, the queen said. They decided to try something no one had ever done. They would not hide. They would not attack. They would gather every voice, every light, every memory, and send it outward as a single wave of being. Preparations began. The Kethra carved resonant stones that hummed when touched. The Viral wove vines into great nets that caught starlight. Humans tuned every comms dish to broadcast not data but feeling. The Xalari linked their minds through ancient threads of shared thought. At the center stood the tree. Lisa and the queen stood beneath it. Hands clasped. Around them thousands gathered. Not just from Kestros Via, but from every world that had heard the song. They formed a ring that grew wider each hour. When the void reached the edge of their system, the stars there blinked out. The sky grew darker. The air grew colder. Even the wind stopped, but the people did not. They began to sing. Not one song, but many. Human lullabies, Xalari chants, Viral earth hymns, Kethra pulse rhythms, all woven together by the tree's own voice. The sound rose not as noise, but as light. Golden threads of music spiraled into the sky. The void slowed. It had never met resistance like this. It consumed matter energy time, but it did not know what to do with love, with memory, with hope. The tree glowed brighter than ever. Its roots pulsed with light, spreading through the ground into every foot that stood upon it. Lisa felt it in her chest like a second heartbeat. The queen whispered, "It is working." But the strain was great. The tree's leaves began to fall. Its branches trembled. Lisa knew what had to be done. She stepped forward alone. "Lisa, no." The queen called. "Someone has to go to it," Lisa said. "Not to fight, to show it what it is missing." She walked toward the edge of the light where darkness waited. The crowd fell silent. Only the tree's song remained. As she stepped into the shadow, the void reached for her, cold, sharp, and empty. But Lisa did not scream. She sang. She sang of her mother's hands, of rainy days on earth, of the first time she heard the tree's music. She sang of the queen's calm eyes, of Mara's laugh, of children playing in the plaza. She sang of every small kindness, every shared meal, every moment someone chose to listen instead of shout. The void hesitated. In that moment of stillness, something changed. Single point of light appeared in the darkness. Then another. Then 1,000. The void was not evil. It was lonely. It had consumed everything because it did not know how to connect. Lisa held out her hand. "You don't have to be empty." The darkness shivered. Then it began to sing. Not a human song. Not a Xalari song. But its own. Low, deep, and full of stars reborn. Light returned to the sky. The vanished stars blinked back one by one. The wind sighed with relief. Lisa turned and walked back to the tree. The crowd erupted in joy, but she only had eyes for the queen, who ran to her and held her tight. "You gave it a voice," the queen whispered. "We all did." In the days that followed, the void did not leave. It stayed at the edge of the system, not as a threat, but as a guardian. It wove itself into the fabric of space, humming a quiet song that kept worse things away. The tree recovered. Its leaves grew back silver and strong. But now they shimmered with faint streaks of dark blue like night sky. Life returned to its rhythm, but deeper, richer. The people knew now that even the darkest thing could be reached if you sang with your whole heart. Years later, when Lisa's body grew too tired to walk, the queen carried her beneath the tree. One last time, the crowd gathered, not in sorrow but in gratitude. Lisa looked up at the branches, at the stars beyond. It was worth it. What was, the queen asked. Listening, she closed her eyes. The tree sang her name, and Lisa became part of the song. The queen did not weep. She sat beneath the tree every day just as Lisa had. She told stories to the children who came to listen. She tended the roots, watered the soil, and whispered to the leaves. One evening, a young girl asked, "Will the song ever end?" The queen looked at the sky, where the void still hummed its quiet tune, only when no one is left to hear it. But there would always be someone, because someone would always choose to listen. Time flowed like a quiet river on Kestros V. The singing tree now stood taller than the comms tower, its silver leaves shimmering day and night. Its song had changed again, deeper, richer, as if it had learned new languages from the stars. Lisa Morgan walked beneath it every morning, barefoot on the soft grass that had grown where only dust once lay. She no longer wore a uniform. She wore simple clothes made from virile woven cloth and a small pendant, carved by the Kethra shaped like a seed. The queen stayed. She built a home near the tree, not a palace, but a quiet place with open windows and walls that caught the morning light. She and Lisa shared meal stories and long silences that needed no words. They were not lovers, not sisters, but something rarer. Two souls who had chosen each other across the void. The outpost had become a city of many kinds. Humans, Zalari, Viral, Kethra, and others lived side by side. Children played in the plaza, speaking a mix of tongues that somehow made sense to all. Schools taught not just math or history, but how to listen, how to share, how to grow things together. But peace is never finished. It must be tended like a garden. One evening, a message came not through comms, but through the tree itself. Its leaves stilled. Its song dropped to a whisper. Lisa felt it in her bones before she heard it. Something was wrong far away. She ran to the queen, who stood already waiting beneath the branches. "The far rim," the queen said, "the ones who first sang to us." Their signal had gone silent. Lisa remembered that first song, full of hope and loneliness. "We have to go." This time they did not ask permission. They simply prepared. The obsidian ship was ready. So was a small human vessel retrofitted with Zalari engines. They called it the Bridge. Mara Ellis would pilot it. Hale would stay behind to keep order. The Viral offered healing moss that glowed in darkness. The Kethra gave them a map etched on bone, showing safe paths through the rift zones. They left at dawn. The journey was long. They passed through nebulae that hummed with ancient energy, and past dead worlds wrapped in silence. Finally, they reached the source of the song, a small moon orbiting a dying star. What they found broke their hearts. The species who had reached out lived in caves now. Their cities were ruins. Their young were thin and quiet. A sickness had come not of the body, but of the spirit. They had lost their will to sing. Their elder, a being with skin like cracked stone, met them at the cave mouth. "You came," he said. "But it is too late." "Why?" Lisa asked. "We heard your song. We believed. We reached out." But then silence returned. "We thought you had abandoned us." Lisa shook her head. "We never stopped listening." The queen stepped forward. "Show us your heart place." They led them deep into the mountain to a chamber where a great crystal once pulsed with light. Now it was dark. "This is where we sang to the stars," the elder said. "Now it is empty." Lisa looked at the queen. "Can we help? Not with force, not with words, only with presence." So they stayed. For days they sat in the chamber. The queen sang old Zalari lullabies. Lisa told stories of Kestros Vi, of the Tree of Children laughing in the rain. Mara played a simple tune on a flute she had carved from shipwood. At first the locals watched from the shadows. Then one child crept closer. Then another. On the fifth night, the youngest one, a girl with eyes like wet stones, hummed a note. It was soft, barely there. But the crystal flickered. The queen smiled. "Begin again," the girl sang louder. Others joined. Slowly the chamber filled with sound. The crystal brightened. Light spread through the caves. By morning the whole moon sang. The elder wept. "You gave us back our voice." "You never lost it," Lisa said. "You just needed to know someone was listening." They left a seed from the Kestros tree planted in the heart chamber. "Let it grow with your song," the queen said. On the way home, Mara asked why they did it. "We didn't have to come." "Yes, we did," Lisa said. "Because once someone reached out to us." And we answered. "Now it's our turn." Back on Kestros Vi, the tree welcomed them with a joyful chorus. But something had shifted. The tree's glow was stronger, its roots spreading beyond the plaza into the wildlands. Animals came from the hills to sleep beneath it. Birds nested in its branches, and their calls mixed with its song. Then came the storm, not of wind or rain, but of silence. One morning the tree stopped singing. No one knew why. Its leaves stayed silver, its trunk strong, but no music came. Panic spread. Some said the Zalari had poisoned it. Others blamed human machines. Old fears rose like smoke. Lisa ran to the queen. "What's happening?" The queen placed a hand on the trunk. Her eyes closed. "It is not broken. It is waiting." "For what?" "For us to remember why we started." That night Lisa gathered everyone in the plaza. Not to speak, but to sit. Just sit together in the quiet. At first it was hard. People fidgeted, whispered, argued. But slowly they stilled. And in that stillness, something new began. A child hummed. A virile tapped a rhythm on stone. A kethra clicked softly. A human whistled a tune from earth. The tree listened. Then it sang. Not the old song. Not the Zallery song. Not the human song. But a new one made of all of them. Tears ran down faces. Hands reached for hands. The fear melted like frost in morning sun. After that, they held a night of silence every moon cycle. Not to fix anything. Just to be together. Life went on. Years passed. Lisa's hair turned gray. The queen's glow softened but never faded. The tree grew so tall its top touched the clouds. Ships came from every corner of known space, not to trade or fight, but to listen. One day, a young human girl asked Lisa why the tree sang. Because someone once chose to listen, Lisa said. Who, me? The girl looked up at the silver leaves. Will it sing forever, as long as someone hears it? That evening, Lisa and the queen sat beneath the branches as always. The twin moons rose. The stars blinked awake. The tree sang its endless song. Lisa leaned her head on the queen's shoulder. We did it. We are still doing it. And in that moment, the whole universe felt close enough to hold.